Hello and welcome to another video. On today's episode we're going to take a deeper look into the Sunbreaker subclass of the Titan. You're going to want to firstly travel to the Shard of the Traveller, which is located on Earth. There you're going to want to head towards the Dark Forest. At the Dark Forest you're going to come across a scary looking portal that you're going to want to jump into, and it'll take you to another dimension or some weird unknown place. Once there, you're going to go through a story of titans that have been and gone, and eventually you're going to lead yourself to the Shard of the Traveller, and that is of course where you're going to get your power from. So when you arrive, you're going to get attacked by a few from a few Taken and other enemies, and you're going to have to defend yourself. But eventually the Shard calls you, and you head towards the Shard, and as you can see, this is what happens. Now that you have the Sunbreaker subclass, and you also get an achievement for completing all the subclasses, which is pretty good, you're going to want to fight your way through these guys until you come to another portal which takes you back to your normal time or dimension. So this first grenade is going to simply allow you to set your enemies on fire. When it hits them, as you can see, pretty effective when you're in the heat of the battle. This second grenade is going to, when you throw it, it's going to allow a burning line of fire to explode after the initial explosion that will damage enemies around the enemy you've actually thrown the grenade at, as you can soon see here. Away from grenades for a minute, we're now going to take a look at the hammer strike, which allows you to sprint at an enemy, and when you hit them it does more damage, as you can soon see now. When I come to hit this enemy, I'm going to do more damage, and it's going to look pretty sick when I do it, as you can see. After unlocking all the Code of the Fireforge, you receive a pretty cool emblem. Now we're going to have a look at the Mortar Blast, which means that when you hit an enemy, it releases fire which kills the enemies all around it. The Sol Invictus means that when you kill an enemy, your health is restored, and it leaves a deadly sunspot in their wake. The Sun Warrior allows you to recharge faster, and your supers to last longer when you stood in a sunspot. And finally, the Endless Siege is basically means that your hammer will create a sunspot in its impact, and when you're stood in this sunspot, it means that you'll be able to throw your hammers a lot faster. So now we're going to try out these new abilities. Now that we've unlocked them all, I'm just going to search for an enemy, see if I can find one. No, I'm not going to use that yet. I think I might use this guy. So I'm going to melee this guy, and he should burst into flames or like embers of fire, and then it should create a sunspot, and within this sunspot it's going to give me them extra abilities that we spoke about previously. And he looks pretty cool. Take these dudes out. And finally, the last grenade that you unlock is the Fusion Grenade, that deals extra damage to enemies and will actually stick to an enemy when you throw it. So let's just demonstrate this here. There we go. And it also creates a sunspot, which is going to give you extra abilities. Well, I hope you enjoyed this more detailed look into the Titan Sunbreaker subclass. And be sure to like the video, and remember to subscribe for more Destiny 2. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.